We look like we are the stewards of this planet, but in actuality, we have not earned the right to be stewards. I think nothing short of a planetary attitude adjustment is required for us to get off the destructive path that we are on. I feel that disclosure is a just-in-time word and will save us from ourselves. I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know what the future holds in store for us, but my hope is that our governments, with our help, will realize that continued lying damages us all. It undermines our true potential and our place in the universe. There is no reason to withhold the truth anymore. It is just around the corner, waiting to be born. I think most of us know that. We can articulate it, and anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. I'll pass it back to Dr. BGN.
Thank you, Michael. Just before we get to the witness testimony, which will probably be the meat and potatoes of the evening, I'd like to let you know that the disclosure DVD that we have will be on sale at the end of the evening. Please, you'll be able to see Michael, David Shishak, over here to my left, and he will be at the back table to sell that to you if you wish. But it is a 2-hour-long DVD that has but most of the witness testimony that's of relevance. And in talking with Dr. Greer, we're up to well over that, multiple numbers of witnesses. You just can't get it all in one DVD. We are only going to look this evening, because of time, at maybe 3 or 4. I've got it set up on the computer that we can listen to. I would guess, depending on how things go, 3 to 4, possibly 6 of the witnesses, depending on how much time it takes. Because I do want you to hear the statements by Dr. Greer and by Paul Hellyer, and then to engage in a question and answer following them. So that's where we're going to go now. Let's do a very brief introduction of where we're going for the evening, and we'll take it over from there with the DVD in a moment. What I'd like to do, just want to take this thing off so I don't ruin anybody's ears. What I'd like to do is just run through something very, very quickly with you, just to give you sort of an overview. And I want to let you know that there is just so much information, as I said earlier, that there's no way that you can encapsulate it this evening. I know Paul will try, I know Stephen will try. There's a very important meeting that happened this morning in Mr. Hellyer's office among the 3 of us, and the information amount was just overwhelming, coming from the exchange that Paul and Stephen had this afternoon. So if you've heard this before, bear with me. If you haven't heard it before, particularly the press, get the pencils going, because you won't hear anything like this again unless we have something like this in the future. This is a one-time shot. So basically, we're here to talk about that. Basics of the briefing, it's an update, as Michael said. We are involved in what we call the Canadian Disclosure Initiative, and that is sort of made up of three groups here in Toronto, myself and Michael, and our organization, Anthropolitics Toronto, and the Disclosure Project with the director, Dr. Stephen M. Greer of Virginia, and also the Institute for Cooperation in Space. The director is Alfred Weber. And the 3 of us have collaborated to develop the idea behind a Canadian Disclosure Initiative, to work with the press, to work with the government, hopefully moving towards some sort of engagement or dialogue, or to make it okay to talk about this stuff. To make it okay to talk about it. Right now, it's not okay. I spoke with the news director at one of the local radio stations about 3 months ago, and he laughed. He just laughed when I brought this up. We don't have time for that. That's the mentality that is out there. We need to change that today. And that's why we're here. So, these 3 organizations, NGOs, if you want to call them that, but we're working hard to make sure this information gets out and that we begin to engage the press. Looking at the whole thing, what are we talking about? And this, once again, these aren't the only issues, the multiplicity of issues here. First of all, we're looking at the reality of an extraterrestrial presence. Fact. Take it to the bank. Number two, the authenticity and seriousness of the geopolitical policy implications. And we'll get into that this evening. Okay? Of the unidentified aerial phenomenon and of the non-Earth civilizations that are visiting us. There are incredible geopolitical implications. I'm not getting into them right now. I know the other speakers will be soon, as you will hear on the DVD also. And also about the cover-up. It's 58 years old. I'm 58 years old. Okay? Maybe going on longer, I'm not sure, but that's how long the government has been hiding this from us. And as a matter of fact, when this first started, they were just as confused as you and I are right now about this. They didn't know what to do. They were just as frightened as anything. When I think about the implications, they still don't know what to do. I'm talking about military and government. I'm not talking about big corporations. They know exactly what's going on, and we'll get into that later. Our mission, basically, to engage mainstream media. That's what we're here for. A long-term, sustained examination and comprehensive investigation of multiple, what I call converging lines of evidence. You look at all the information, and there's so many lines of evidence. In a court of law, that's the way they develop things. They develop converging lines of evidence so the jury can come up with only one conclusion, guilty or not guilty. If you take this information to the bank or to a court of law, those converging lines of evidence, you look at all the evidence, not just one string. If you look at all of the evidence, you'll come up with the undisputable conclusion that there's an extraterrestrial presence. And that this thing called unidentified objects or unidentified aerial phenomena are in fact true. Okay? Where they come from, who makes them, are they ours, are they theirs? Those are questions that we need to broach in the discourse. We can't provide all the answers right now. Okay? The major goals of what we're trying to do is, in the long term, engage the government. Huge task. Insurmountable, like pushing a boulder up a mountain. To establish a formal disclosure process by the government and its agencies regarding the unidentified aerial phenomenon. And I'll get into this in a second. Because this is not a confrontational thing. We do not want to begin accusing our government. Because most elected officials have no idea what's going on anyways. It's the people in the back rooms or underground. Long-term objectives? To create a partnership with government. And we are moving towards that. And media, educational institutions, private industry, social institutions. To facilitate a process of disclosure that engenders cooperation and a gradual transition concerning the knowledge that we are being visited by off-world civilizations. You see where I'm going with this? We need to engage the public, everyone. And that's the role of the media. We can't do it. You guys have to get this information out. The peaceful use of space. Right now, it is a foregone conclusion in many people's minds that space-based weapons are there. They have the capacity to do just about anything you want. And if you look at all the information again, there are weapons out there that you cannot imagine. I'm hoping Dr. Greer might be able to broach that issue with us this evening. Transition from fossil fuels to new forms of energy. That's it in a nutshell, folks. And if the press wants to ask a question about that later on, please. That's the hitch right there. We're driving around in our cars, we're burning gas, diesel fuel, and there are extraterrestrial civilizations, off-world civilizations who have energy forms that we have no idea about, that can move at or beyond, way beyond light speed. Okay? You say, well, he's making that up. No, I'm not. Another thing you can take to the bank. I don't mean to be overly aggressive here, but I'm a teacher by profession. And when I challenge my learners, and I'm considering everyone in this audience right now a learner, and actually there's one person in the audience right now who was a learner of mine as a student teacher, and she knows how hard I can push. All my students. And I take it, it's one thing, everybody does things really, really well. It's the one thing I know in my life that I can do really, really well. So I'm trying to be instructive here and challenge you as learners. I call it brushing the fur the other way. In other words, if I don't upset you this evening, I'm not doing my job. If I don't challenge you this evening, I'm not doing my job as a teacher. So, that's why I'm
putting this effort into